Here's Rineman in the Morning, on demand from 102.1 and 105.3, The Shark. It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
The IRS has begun accepting 2022 tax filings. So if you have already filed, do you enjoy being a nerd? Avatar finished first at the box office for the 7th week in a row. But if you cannot get tickets, just chug some NyQuil and watch The Smurfs. Well, today is Monday, and a reminder that if any of your coworkers call it Monday Fun Day, plant drugs in their desk and call the police.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning. Now on Rineman in the Morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
Megan, what's going on?
Water Country has shared their 2023 season dates, and I'm so excited about it.
Hold on, dates?
For the new year.
So it doesn't
summer.
Yes, the summer. Explain the calendar to me. What is their calendar, though?
Shows the dates they open.
Yeah.
Where you can get excited.
It's the summer, though.
Exactly. Look out the window. It's freezing cold.
But it's not like the Patriots schedule or something where it's like on this date where these slides are going to be open. These slides will be over here.
You're being horrible.
All right. Well, it's the Shark app, shark1053.com. If you want to find out Water Country's schedule, here's what I think it's going to be. I bet every single day in the summer the slides will be where they're supposed to be. That's my prediction.
Not true. There are also going to be a couple new features this summer.
But are they there on just certain days or every day?
Not saying anything.
Yeah, okay.
But it's an exciting time. It's way more exciting than Mr. Rineman here.
Okay, what else
is behaving.
Yeah, what we got? What's the next thing?
Wow.
What is this? Your Pet Rock's day planner? What's the next thing we're talking about here?
We don't talk about my pet rock.
Yeah,
that's private.
I'm sorry about that.
How dare you air that information?
I know.
Rude.
He was old.
Well, on that note, there was a lobster caught in Maine, which could be a whopping 100 years old.
What?
Yeah, isn't that insane?
Is this in the ocean or like Long John Silver's? Where did they find this old lobster?
Indeed, he was found in the ocean. He was released, to my knowledge.
100-year-old lobster?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Here in New England, too.
You can dream, right?
Do you think he feels empowered or do you think he feels rejected? The lobster?
I don't know. If I was
what's wrong with me that no one wants me?
If I was a 100-year-old lobster, it's like I've lived for so long, and that's awesome, but also I've seen some stuff.
Yeah, if you see any lobsters out there wearing tracksuits, look out, everybody. Megan will be back a couple more times.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
This weekend, Super Bowl, chili, nachos, Pepto-Bismol.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Now, Megan, before you tell her, we were still fighting about. I'm not besmirching your people like Water Country because you just said Santa's Village, right? They put out their calendar.
They did. Okay,
but they have when's Santa going to be coming for the first time? What face painting act? But Water Country.
The calendar's more than their opening date. You know that, right?
Well, what's going to be on this day? You can go down the slide. On Tuesday, though, you can climb up it. But you can't go down until Thursday.
I would love to see you climb up a water slide and then fall down.
Yeah, what goes up must come down.
Of course, like your ego, right?
Never. My gosh.
That was good. I'm proud of myself for that. I am so happy right now.
Megan's been
Happy Monday.
Megan's been using Rosetta Stone to learn how to cackle in different languages. What else we got, Megan? What's
I cackle
going on?
like a witch. It's really bad. That explains why Halloween is my favorite time of year. So LL Bean is renovating their flagship store up in Maine, which I think is pretty exciting.
Oh, yeah. Well, but you know what, though? I saw that there was some controversy about this.
Well,
Not everyone's
really?
happy about it. I don't know. I guess just some people got used to it. It is like a landmark. It's this thing. You kind of go there. And I was surprised. I was like, oh, renovate. But then people were like, huh? So, I don't know. It comes down on both sides of the tent on that one.
I remember as a kid, I haven't been there in years, but I remember they had some rock formations that kids would climb, and I remember that. I remember there was a little tank with fish too.
Did you ever get lost?
A pond.
I got lost in LL Bean when I was a kid.
I don't think I ever got lost.
I got lost in the tents. And you know what's weird about it? It was right after my sister was born, and I'm still not convinced that it wasn't kind of a setup. At the top of the hour, it played some Huey Lewis, and I mentioned how, you know who loves Huey Lewis? The Undertaker, the wrestler. That's one of his favorite bands. Patrick from Newmarket, I understand you have some even stranger Undertaker trivia. What is it?
He is deathly afraid of cucumbers.
Yes. And you know something? If you go to the Shark app or shark1053.com, there's a whole article about that. Because he started out in Connecticut. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Just scared of him. He runs out of the room. Are you scared of anything weird like that, Patrick? Is there any kind of food that you just run out of the room because of?
Food, no. If anything, commitment.
That'll give you a bad aftertaste. Well, Megan reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app or shark1053.com, and you have some questions.
So recently I found myself in Barnes & Noble, as one does.
Bathroom? You had to go to the bathroom?
Actually, yeah. But beside the point, I was in the Stephen King section, or the horror section, which is basically the Stephen King section.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I thought to myself, do I get a Stephen King book? And then I was like, I don't even know if I want to go down this road, because I feel like his stories are they're very intense, and I don't know how I do with horror genre when it comes to books. But you mentioned that you read a Stephen King book that knocked your socks off, changed your life. I'd love to hear more about what this book was and why you recommend it.
Well, I'm not going to say which one it is because you got to go to the Shark app or the shark1053.com.
Cruel.
But I will say that there's a book. I'm not going to give away which one it is, but it's very different from all his other novels in that it's kind of this, I don't know, it just takes you on a journey. It's very long. It's like 1,000 pages.
Jeez. But
in a way, it's kind of like calming because you're like, I know this is going to be my book for a while, but it isn't because you blow right through it. You binge read this book.
Interesting.
And it came out like a little over a decade ago. I'll give you some hint. It involves some real historical figures. There's something someone's trying to alter in history. And it's so special because there's like an underlying theme that you actually care about. But it's like that part of your brain that dominates. You're like, oh, I hope they finish the mission. But underneath, you're actually really caring about something else. And then when it's all resolved at the end, you're just like, oh, and it's like you learned a lesson. It's a very special episode type book. I think everyone should read it.
Interesting. I like how you said it combines history as well, because I'm a history fan. I'm considering reading a 1,000-page book as well. Well, technically it's 3 rolled into 1. I have loved the Lord of the Rings films for 10 years. They've been my favorite movies for about 10 years, but I've never actually read the books. And I'm thinking of getting one book that has all 3 novels like in one, like a big book of all 3, which is about 1,000 pages, and just plowing through the whole thing, because why not?
The turducken of books.
Exactly.
A turbucken. Alexa, trademark turbucken.
No one's allowed to use it anymore. Just saying.
Classic hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. It's Rineman in the morning. We gave out 2 $25 gift cards. Delicious food at Pepper's Landing in Rochester. But also been talking about some foods that make us kind of squirm, just kind of back up into the bushes like Homer Simpson. Hey, Rich in Georgetown, what was it you were telling me you don't like in terms of food?
Excessive mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise. You don't like too much mayonnaise?
Yeah.
I know someone who doesn't like mayonnaise. Now, how come? Just kind of a grossy, weird sort of thing for you?
Yeah, just the texture.
Okay, fair enough. No mayonnaise for Rich. But what about you, Joyce in Rochester? Any foods that you can't put up with?
No.
You like everything?
Pretty much.
How about something to drink? Is there any kind of beverage that you go, gross, I can't deal with this?
Well, I don't drink alcohol, so.
Okay, well, there you go. You and I, same thing. We're winning dry January, Joyce. It's like they say, you can't miss 100% of the shots you don't drink. Is that what it is? Well, let's go to someone who knows his sports metaphors.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Celtics, Lakers, overtime seas win LeBron, wah, wah.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what's going on?
So there is a New Hampshire town that HGTV says is one of the most charming in all of America.
Well, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
A New Hampshire town?
It is. It's not on the seacoast, though.
Oh,
I will say
interesting.
that. So, like, my inclination would be Portsmouth because I live, like, closer to that area and I spend more time there. But no, it's more up north.
Well, you're an elitist. So, yeah, of course you would say that.
No, I'm just a broke 23-year-old who likes walking around Portsmouth imagining that I could maybe afford a square inch of apartment space there.
That's not just 23-year-olds, but I got Shark app, shark1053.com. HGTV says most charming town. Interesting.
Yeah.
What else we got happening?
Do you remember Heritage, New Hampshire up in Glen?
No.
I don't either.
What's that all about?
But apparently, it's a place that used to exist in Glen that was almost like a history museum about the state of New Hampshire. Same town as Storyland.
Was it a museum or was it like explain this to me. It was like a Plymouth Plantation thing where people dressed up in costumes and said, I'm the blacksmith. Or was it like a museum with paintings and things?
It's more of a building. It's not like a living history museum. Although I really love those. I want to go to Colonial Williamsburg in Virginia. Yeah, I do.
You've never been?
I haven't. I'm a big history fan, so I've been to a lot of historic spots, but I've not been to Williamsburg yet. I do have family in that area.
Yeah.
And they're big history fans, so they've been like, come down, we will go together and have a ball.
Have you done Plymouth Plantation? Have you ever done that?
I was going to do it this summer, but the day I was going to do it, I had stuff come up, so I didn't get around to going. I do want to go.
It's really interesting. This is another thing on the Shark app, shark1053.com. The actual Plymouth Rock that everyone like. Have you seen how big it actually is?
I don't think it's that big.
Let's put it this way. You go in expecting The Rock, you get Kevin Hart.
Yikes.
There you go. In just the latest sign of an uncertain media landscape, after a new merger, Showtime will be known as Paramount Plus with Showtime. And you can read all about it in the Wall Street Journal with Ranger Rick featuring Sports Illustrated for Kids. JetBlue was named the worst airline in the U.S. for 2022, while Southwest failed to qualify as an airline. Michael Jackson will be portrayed by his own nephew in an upcoming biopic. He narrowly beat out the other finalist, Michael Jackson's niece.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Well, we reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app or shark1053.com, and Megan has questions.
You're telling me that none other than President JFK was a New England sports fan?
Oh my gosh, he went crazy. Yeah, that's my favorite thing. That is, I'm not condoning some of the things he said, but long story short, while he was president, he's in the Oval Office.
Okay.
And he sees a hockey score for the U.S. hockey team, and man, he goes ballistic. And if you go to the Shark app or shark1053.com, got the audio for you. It's the actual JFK having like a Boston sports radio freak out about this hockey thing.
That's so funny.
You will laugh, you laugh immediately because it's actually him going, Dave, it's Jack. And then he just goes crazy yelling about the hockey team. And you're like, this guy's in the Cold War. He's got all sorts of stuff. He's trying to get the Civil Rights Act through, but he's like, oh, this hockey score. And he just goes nuts. It's hilarious.
I really hate that I even have to ask this because I feel like I should know it. Is he from the region?
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry. I'm
Megan,
sorry.
Sometimes, Megan, I think Megan's just young. And then there's
I'm
times like now where I'm like, no, you're a space alien. What planet? Where are you from?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Were you built in a lab? How do you not? You don't know that Kennedy is from New England?
We were
this is inexcusable.
We were literally having a conversation earlier about how much I love history, but I also that's not. I prefer early U.S. history.
Hello, how are you? Oh, he must be from Texas.
He's rolling in his grave right now. I'm sorry, John.
Oh my gosh. Well, allegedly. If you read Stephen King, maybe you can go back. You know what? That's what you should do. Go talk to Stephen King and send you back in time, and then you can go meet Kennedy.
I'm going to stop talking before I dig my grave another several feet deeper.
Say grave a couple more times, and you talk about Kennedy. My goodness. Classic hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. We'll be right back with more Rineman in the Morning.
Screw you, Rineman.
If we're still on the air.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Massachusetts sports, gambling legal. Hey, kids, no college.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning. It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Today, sports betting will become legal in the state of Massachusetts, while in Maine, the only form of gambling remains trying to outrun a moose. Yes, gambling is now legal in Massachusetts. You all said I was wrong for betting against my niece at a spelling bee. That's right, sports betting is now allowed in Massachusetts. The way it works is, you bet on the Yankees, and then the governor keys your car.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
All right, now we're going to continue this, because Megan's one of the smartest people I know.
Oh,
Legit.
That's actually flattering. Really?
You really are one of the smartest, most cultured people I know.
Wow.
You appreciate art, culture, all that stuff. But again, you weren't totally aware that President John Fitzgerald Kennedy was from New England. This is news to you. President Kennedy. You're driving along, you see the President Kennedy Center there off the highway in Boston.
Never been.
Yeah, you never been. They're all hanging out at the Cape. Well, geez, I don't know.
I've been to the Cape since I was 10.
But there was some confusion, and we kind of cleared it up, is that he's from Brookline. He's from Brookline, Massachusetts.
Yes.
But you all this time misunderstood. You thought President Kennedy was from where?
No, I never knew where he was from. You said Brookline, and my tired brain thought you said Brooklyn, New York.
You thought President Kennedy was from
and I said,
Brooklyn, New York.
Said, New York's not in New England. And then you said, no, Brookline, Mass. And I was like, okay, that makes sense.
But this is just all the more hilarious to me because now I'm just picturing him from Brooklyn. That's all I want to see.
That didn't seem very fitting either. I was like, Brooklyn?
I know you do theater, and you're wonderful. You're very talented. I want to see a play about President Kennedy if he's from Brooklyn. That's what I was doing. Hey, we go to the moon, do all them other things. Hey, forget about it.
There is a musical about presidents, but I don't think Kennedy's in. No, he has to be in it. He has to be in it. I don't know.
Megan, I'm going to ask you about this musical starring presidents. Did it take place with a bunch of robots, and was it at Disney World?
No, it's called Assassins, and I'm leaving it there.
Okay. Oh, boy. We're really on a roll, aren't we?
Here we are.
It's the Light Morning Show. It's Classic Hits of the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. We'll be right back with more sunshine on Rineman in the Morning. The Super Bowl's coming up, and it's a big cultural event. We got Rihanna doing the halftime show. Ben Affleck, I think he's doing a Dunkin' Donuts ad. That's going to be exciting. And then, of course, you got the two teams in it, the Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. But did you see this? For some reason, in New York City, the Empire State Building was all lit up green for Philadelphia Eagles colors. It's a big controversy. I don't quite understand it, but I think I have someone who can explain it to us.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Empire State Building, green lights for Eagles, New Yorkers. Forget about it.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman.
Megan, what's going on?
3 of the 50 biggest retail stores in America are in New England, and I'm kind of surprised because I feel like we'd have more.
Wait a minute. When you mean 3 of the biggest retail stores, do you mean like 3 of the most successful, or 3 physically, like they're the largest you'd get lost in retail stores? Like by size or by like
I think
brand?
They mean like biggest chains and brands and things like that. I feel like we'd have more than 3, though.
Interesting.
Out of the top 50.
You mean we're based in New England, or that
they
we have
locations in New England? What's out there that we don't have? Cough, cough, Wegmans, please come to New England. I would love that.
Wegmans takes so long to build, though. Like, there was one down in Massachusetts in this town I knew, and gosh, it was like 3 years waiting for that thing. What else is happening?
So, Murder Mystery 2 with New Hampshire's Adam Sandler and also Jennifer Aniston has a release date that's officially been announced. It is in March. I won't share any more hints, but Jelana was really excited about it.
You know what I love about Adam Sandler is, and I say this with great reverence for Adam Sandler, of course, is that most of his movies, it's probably coming out of Netflix, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
How'd you guess?
Well, I just think Adam's great because in real life, he dresses like a person watching one of his movies. He dresses like I would to watch Netflix.
Okay, that's fair.
But I love him for it. I love that he's humble. We have more with Megan coming up. It's Classic Hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. Be right back with more Rineman in the Morning.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Bruins and Maple Leafs, Boston and Toronto, Duncan or Tim Hortons.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Well, we've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app or shark1053.com. And Megan, you have some questions.
So I just wanted to offer my condolences for your Jeep.
Oh, thank you so much.
R.I.P.
Yeah, it was...
You wrote a nice tribute to it on the Shark app or shark1053.com, and it is very moving. It is very sentimental.
Yeah, I had a Jeep, and I had it for about 10 years. And there was a little boo-boo. Someone said, no more Jeep. And so I ended up not being able to drive it anymore. And, it's gone. I got a new one, but I missed the old one. It wasn't fantastic, but, it had a lot of good memories. It had a lot of tricky memories. It got me through a lot of tough times.
Did it have a name?
Yes, Daddy's Jeep. That became the name. And so there you go. The good news is I got to bring my daughter along with me. We went right here in Portsmouth, pick out the new one. And she loves the new one, too. But... it was like anytime she would see a car that was maroon, like my last Jeep, she would say when she was a baby, "Oh, Daddy's car." So it just became known as Daddy's car.
That's really sweet.
Yeah. I still want to have you driving the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile because this is a thing you weren't aware of.
No. I'll pass on driving the Wienermobile. But I currently drive an HRV.
If this
so
were
I
one of
enjoy
those
that.
morning zoo shows, we'd have a Michael Scott, That's What She Said in there. But Megan will be back because I actually need some serious advice about something. I wrote something that got me in trouble, and we'll have some more on that coming up on Classic Hits for the Seacoast 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. Be right back with more Rineman in the Morning. Well, all of New England is experiencing Arctic temperatures. In fact, it is so cold in Boston, people rode the Orange Line just for the fire. McDonald's announced record profits last quarter. In fact, McDonald's is doing so well, their CEO ate lunch at Five Guys. There's a new movie coming out called 80 for Brady. It's about how many more seasons Tom Brady will play before getting the message.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
All right, now, Megan, I got myself in some trouble with something on the Shark app and shark1053.com. So since you're the expert in that, I need your help here.
When do you not get in trouble on the app or the website?
So somehow someone brought up the Devil Monkey story recently that I wrote about. That's, I think, the one that's done the best that I've ever written. So there's the Devil Monkey of Danville. This was back in 2001. There was like this crazy, evil, dangerous monkey in the woods in Danville, New Hampshire. And everyone's like, ha, 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 yeah, right. But then the fire department, like the chief saw it and was like, no, this is a real thing. And everyone had to stay inside. And so someone brought that up to me, and I was talking about it. And then I turn, and standing right next to me is my 5-year-old daughter. And she is now terrified of the devil monkey. Megan is staring.
Legitimately?
Yeah, Megan is staring really mean daggers through me right now. I didn't do this on purpose, I swear.
So does she go to bed at night and she has to be like, Dad, promise me the devil monkey isn't going to get me? Oh my!
That is exactly what happened. You're closer to her age than I am right now. So think back. Think back in your memory bank. What would nowadays keep you? When I was a kid, it was just, here's a little extra Dimetap. Go to bed for a couple of days. But what would make you feel at ease now as a person of today's
growing
youth?
up for me, I remember if I was ever scared of something like in the night or something, it always just was a phase that passed.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say for her, that it's not going to be a forever thing.
How about this? How about you get a monkey costume, you come knock on the door, you say you're the devil monkey.
Traumatize your kid.
No, but you say, I've changed my ways. I'm the angel monkey. Nice to meet you.
Okay, but doesn't she hear me on the radio and she'd recognize my voice?
We'll have to work on your impressions.
Exactly. I do.
Do the one impression you do. You know what I think you should do? Do it as Fonzie. Give me an A.
A.
There it is. Oh my gosh, here comes the devil monkey of Danville, but now he's the angel monkey and he says, that's right.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Dr. Phil announced he is ending his television show. But if you still crave his level of expert advice, have you tried a magic 8-ball? It's very chilly today in New England. In fact, it is so cold, I am wearing my flannel banana hammock. 2 monkeys taken from a Dallas zoo were found alive inside the closet of a nearby home, while 5 little monkeys were found jumping on the bed.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Hey, it's Rineman. Who am I talking to?
You're talking to Roger from Dover.
Hey, Roger from Dover. What's going on?
I don't know. I got the phone here, a new phone, and I hit a button, and I get into you guys. Not bad. Not a bad call.
Did you just butt dial the Shark, Roger?
Yeah. Wow.
Can I play anything for you, Roger?
You need Elton John down there? Like,
you know what you need for a guy who just butt dialed us?
I know what I need, but you guys don't have it down there.
You need I'm Still Standing.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Tom Brady retiring for good. You know what that means. He'll be back.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
It's Rineman in the Morning. I love when people call in. And right now I have William from Dover. William, what's going on?
Well, I have a great idea.
Sure.
I know you guys. I'm an idea man. I know you guys play the song "I Got You, Babe" by Sonny and Cher, and I know it's part of it. You don't play it often, but it's in there.
Okay.
That movie with Bill Murray, Groundhog Day. It's 6 o'clock. Or is it 6 o'clock or 6:01? But anyway, the alarm goes off and plays that song. So it could be like an annual thing, like have your listeners set their alarm, and that song, Sonny and Cher, "I Got You, Babe." Like it was a Groundhog Day, so every year they'll be waking up like it's the same day over and over again.
William, it's a fascinating idea, but I swear you called yesterday and suggested the same thing.
Oh, I seriously, no, I didn't.
No, you did, William. You did. You're tricking me here, but that's a good idea. I will go. I will run that up, and you know what? And I'll talk to you tomorrow, same time. How's that?
Didn't you just say that yesterday?
What? Okay, I gotta go.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Today is Groundhog Day, and after seeing his shadow, Tom Brady decided to play 6 more seasons. Today is Groundhog Day, and after seeing his shadow, Tom Brady decided to play 6 more seasons. Today is Groundhog Day, and after seeing his shadow, Tom Brady decided to play 6 more seasons.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what's going on?
You a brunch fan?
Brunch? Fan?
Brunch, yeah.
Of course.
Who isn't, right? I
Yeah.
compiled a list of some of the best places for brunch in all of New Hampshire. Which,
Interesting.
yeah, everyone loves brunch, so I figured everyone could benefit from hearing the news. We have a lot of great restaurants in New Hampshire. I was having a conversation with a family member about it the other day, about how she was like, hey, there's this new breakfast place in this town. We should go check it out. And it just sort of hit me of really all the different restaurants in New Hampshire just that I've learned about through working here that I have never visited but should.
Brunch to me, though, it can be a bit stressful. Sometimes it feels like a competition. Do you ever notice that? That everyone's a little braggy at brunch. Everyone's got, it's kind of a weird mix because, like, you have to be on. You know what I'm saying? You have to be ready to make conversation. For me, it's a little too early, which I know sounds weird because here I am right now. But still, it's just, it has this thing to it where everyone's talking about what they're doing. Everyone's talking about what they did. It gets very braggy to me. That's the only thing I don't love about brunch.
That makes sense. I have an interesting relationship with brunch. It's complicated. My Facebook relationship status would say it's complicated when it comes to brunch.
It's complicated with brunch.
It is because I don't know how to explain it. I've never been the person who can go out and have like a super big breakfast.
Yes.
And with brunch, it's like I'm hungry by the time brunch comes because like breakfast time is over. But then it's like I don't really want breakfasty food at like 11. I wake up really early. So I have a complicated, like I'll do it. I'll have a fun time.
It's just, it's I don't know. I mean, it's like, if you want to go check it out, it's on the Shark app, shark1053.com. All the best places to have brunch, but don't forget to stay up and study so you know all the things to talk about at brunch. Megan will be back a couple more times. It's Classic Hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. We'll be right back with more Rineman in the Morning.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Today is Groundhog Day, and after seeing his shadow, Tom Brady decided to play 6 more seasons. Today is Groundhog Day, and after seeing his shadow, Tom Brady decided to play 6 more seasons. Today is Groundhog Day, and after seeing his shadow, Tom Brady decided to play 6 more seasons.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
This is so cute. So we have a video up on our Shark app or shark1053.com of a New Hampshire police dog. He takes a little work break and he goes on a sled with his owner and he goes down this little hill and he looks mildly concerned, but it's adorable.
Oh my gosh. Police dog going sledding.
Yes.
Barreling down a hill.
Yes, I hope he has a happier ending than when I went barreling down a hill when I was 6. I got a scar on my chin because
What happened?
When I was like 6, I went to Wagon Hill with my dad, and it happened to be a day where it was more icy than snowy, and I went down the hill head first.
Oh no!
I was fine. It wasn't really that severe, but there's definitely a picture of me somewhere with like a scar on my chin, and I just remember it was bad enough that it was visible, but it wasn't bad enough where I needed like any sort of emergency medical care, but I never forgot it for some reason. I should probably blame my dad for that. Dad, if you're listening, you shouldn't have taken me sledding that day, so screw you. With all the love in the world, love you.
Yeah. I've seen that Hallmark car. Screw you with all the love in the world. Where is Wagon Hill?
It's, I think, technically in Durham.
Okay.
It's like if you're driving from Durham to Newington, you pass it. It's by, do you know where Emery Farm is?
No. Wait a minute. Am I having a Megan moment here where I don't know things?
Hold up. That's just mean.
Well, you didn't know.
We're versed in different things. Like there are certain subjects that I'm sure you could talk to me all day about, and there are certain subjects where you don't know crap compared to me.
Whoa, hey. Okay, we have to take a break.
I do want to clarify to everyone listening, I am a nice person. I just love giving John a hard time, and
nice
sometimes
person.
I go
you swore on my show.
I didn't swear. Hold up, we'll have a conversation about what's considered swearing on air, because I want to be a well-behaved employee.
If I'm still here, it's Classic Hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. I think be right back with more Rineman in the morning. Jeez. Classic Hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark. It's Rineman in the morning. I asked you, if you could add 6 more weeks to anything, what would it be? I have Sarah from Rochester on the line. Sarah, what do you want 6 more weeks of?
Well, since I get a tax refund every year, I would like 6 more weeks or 42 days of my tax refund day that I get my money. Woo!
There you go. 6 more weeks of free money. We like that.
You got it.
I have Steve on the line. Steve, where are you calling from?
Sebago.
Oh, Sebago, Maine?
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, Steve, you could add 6 more weeks to anything. What would it be?
More 80s music and less talk.
Sounds like Steve's one of those guys who wishes he could add 6 more inches to something. Let's see what else is going on.
Now on Rineman in the morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
Well, we reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app or shark1053.com, and Megan has some questions, I understand?
Well, you reshared your article about the Devil Monkey.
Oh, we're talking about this again?
But I want to know, was it an update with the Devil Monkey, or did you just want to spread awareness of its existence?
Okay, children gather around. Parents, I want you to put your children around the radio right now.
Oh, I know where this is going. Have fun.
The radio right now. So I do have an update on the Devil Monkey. Some people change as they grow older. They get older, they get wiser, and they at a certain point they say things like, "Do I need that second banana before bed?" No. And so the monkey, here's what happened with the Devil Monkey. He's reformed. He's changed. He's changed his ways. He's found religion. I understand he's taken up yoga. He's being very mindful, and he is now no longer the Devil Monkey of Danville that you can read about on the Shark app or shark1053.com. He's now, dare I say it, an angel monkey. And he comes in every time and he says those famous words.
Hey!
It's Rineman in the morning. Happy Groundhog Day. I have a friend on the line from Exeter, and his name is?
Johnny C.
Johnny C. What would you add 6 more weeks to?
Summer.
There you go. That's the answer right there. Thanks, Johnny C. I admire your spirit. But, before we move along, I've gotten some messages on the Shark app. There were some issues with News on the Nines today. I've sent News Guy a text. I said, get me something new. I guess he was repeating something. I don't know. Let's go there now. Let's see if he's got everything figured out. News Guy?
It's time for your News on the Nines with News Guy.
Today is Groundhog Day, and after seeing his shadow, Tom Brady decided to play 6 more seasons. Today is Groundhog Day, and after seeing his shadow, Tom Brady decided to play 6 more seasons. The U.S. debt is set to exceed $32 trillion. And when he saw that, Tom Brady decided to play 6 more seasons.
And that's your News on the Nines. Now back to Rineman in the morning.
Megan, what's going on?
Do you think that Brady is retiring for good?
I do.
You think so?
Yeah, I've joked about it, but I think he is. I mean, it would be beyond insane for him to come back at this point. Okay, well, let me put it this way. I think he's retiring at least for, next season. I'll put it that way. Just because I grew up during the Michael Jordan days where he quit, he came back, and then he quit for a few years, and we were like, okay, he's retired for good, and then he came back again. So, but why do you bring this up? Did someone have a take that may be a little bit different?
Yeah, someone had a take that we really shouldn't care about Brady retiring.
I don't agree with that.
He does. The whole situation reminds me a little bit of, this is going to sound like it's going on a tangent, but I swear it's relevant. I'm a big MCU, I'm a big Marvel fan.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And Tom Hiddleston plays Loki, who is very hot. But beside the point. So every movie he basically dies and somehow comes back to life. And it's gotten to the point where I saw an interview where the actor Tom basically said, I never know when I'm actually done because they keep calling me back. They keep whatever. And I'm like, it's kind of like Brady. I never know when he's actually done. If I'm going to read the news and he's going to be back on the field again.
All those Toms always come back. But the question is, why do we care? It's on the Shark app, shark1053.com. Fair question. He's not here anymore. What else is up?
New England is apparently one of the best regions to have a baby. And I think that makes sense on a lot of fronts because of our education system, safety, things like that. So I think that's cool.
It's also going to be very cold this weekend, too. So, that's another reason people might be having the babies.
Keep your babies and your pets indoors. Speaking of...
Who puts their babies outdoors?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. There's some crazy people out there, John. I'm looking at one right now.
All right.
You wouldn't throw a baby outside, I know. But
I would not. Hey, you know who it seems like we're talking about time after time? It's Tom Brady. Is that he retired again, we think, but it seems genuine this time. But you know what he's doing now? He's getting into pickleball. Now, this is the fastest growing sport in America. There's millions and millions of people playing pickleball, and Tom Brady is one of the top investors in pickleball. They say that in 10 years, it could be like one of our 3 or 4 most popular sports. Now, I have to be honest, I don't know much about pickleball, but luckily, just in time.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Like tennis, but smaller. Like ping pong, but bigger. That's pickleball.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning. It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
President Biden is monitoring a Chinese spy balloon over the United States. Man, every day that guy is dealing with some kind of inflation. Nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame were announced, and they include Sheryl Crow, Cyndi Lauper, and that kid that sings about corn on TikTok. Fox is charging $7 million for a Super Bowl ad, which is why the Geico Gecko will just streak across the field.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Well, we reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app or shark1053.com. My friend Megan has some questions.
We've been talking about, keeping your children and pets indoors during this freezing cold that we're experiencing right now.
Course.
But you provided an article providing some tips regarding pets specifically, because you can't exactly communicate with your pet like you can your child. So,
well, speak for yourself. Arf, arf, Lucy. Yeah, it's a before and after thing. You have to pay attention, not just to when they're out there, because I thought it was like, I'll set the timer for 2 minutes, whatever, then go get them in. But there's actually a lot of things you're supposed to look for with your pets and their behavior and the way they may look, the way they may be walking. And it's going to be so cold this weekend that even if you do everything right, get them in and out, you don't know. Maybe they got into a puddle, maybe who knows, and all of a sudden they're cold. But there's also dangerous things you got to look out for. Things that people put down, places pets may go to stay warm when they're outside. And it's crazy. You should really, I know it's going to be cold, but you should maybe go out with them at the same time, Yeah,
my family cat's an exclusively indoor cat, so she's not going anywhere. She'll be taking a fat nap.
Whoa. Way to body shame your cat. What's the family cat's name?
Emmy.
Emmy?
I love Emmy. I can talk about Emmy all day long.
How old is Emmy?
Emmy's 11.
Emmy's 11. Yeah, they live a long time. My family had a cat named Taffy, and she was the biggest jerk I've ever met. And she would love me saying that. She loved being miserable. She was a bully. And she lived to be almost 20. And my parents put so much care and time and effort and money into keeping her alive. She died 2 days before her 20th birthday.
Aw.
Such a Taffy move. It was such a you spent that money. Bye, folks.
She lived her villain era like a queen.
Speaking of queens and villains, Megan will be back one more time on Classic Hits for the Seacoast.
Hey.
1021, 1053 The Shark. Be right back. More Ryman in the morning. Well, TGIF. This guy is freezing. Experts are warning people to cover their extremities due to the cold weather this weekend. And that's why today I wore my snow pants in the shower. If you own a dog, you are encouraged to wipe them down with a warm towel when they come indoors. And if you wipe your cat down with a towel, I hope you enjoy getting stitches.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the morning.
You know, I feel very lucky here in New Hampshire. I feel like we have a local news station here in New Hampshire, WMUR. They're second to none. Some great people over there. Jamie Staten, Grace Feinerman. Local news, really, really love it. They cover everything. And also down in Boston, I grew up here on the Seacoast watching WBZ with my parents, watching Channel 4. Channel 4, CBS Boston. You know those people, that TV station? And they used to have this wonderful news team. And then it seemed like things started getting chopped down. You know, like first of all, we lost the arts and entertainment. Joyce Kulhawick. Do you remember her? She was fantastic. And then Joyce left, and then they kind of didn't have that anymore. And then, of course, the great Bob Lobel, he stepped away. Well, you know what I just saw? I was looking at something. They're not doing sports. They don't have any sports or any sport, arts and entertainment at all in their 6 p.m. broadcast now on Channel 4. Nothing. So they don't have any movie review. They don't have the sports either. And I thought that was really too bad. It kept getting shrunk down. But you know something? I didn't want to run into the same problem. And I'm happy to say that we don't have to worry about that here because we pack it all in just a short amount of time. We still have our sports report. In fact, let's hear what's going on tonight with the basketball game, huh?
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Celtics Suns, Marcus Smart out, sprained ankle, green hair.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
There is one New England state that drinks more than any other state in the country. And I'm kind of surprised by the one it is. Out of all of the... See,
interesting. Well, without naming the state, why do you think that would be?
A lot of breweries in the state, maybe? I also feel like... I don't want to say there's nothing to do because that's not true and it sounds like I'm talking smack about the state. Because I just feel like it would be Maine. Because I feel like there's more to do in the state where people drink more than in Maine.
But yeah, it's New England. There's what else are you going to do when it's minus 5 degrees? Other than all the babies we talked about earlier and
of course
making them come along. But I don't know. Like I'm not that surprised because I looked at the colleges in this state and I said, no, those are party schools. So there you go.
Yeah.
That was my
okay. That
takeaway.
Makes that. Yeah, that checks out. That's a good point.
Maybe the beaches too, where it was kind of like.
Can you drink on the beach?
Let me tell you something. If you're getting drunk on the beach, my guess is you probably don't pay too close attention to the laws in general.
That's fair, because my next question was going to be like, you know, are you supposed to drink on the beach versus do you actually drink on the beach?
You know, it's sort of like if you see a shirtless person in Walmart at 11 p.m., you're just glad they're wearing pants. You know what I mean?
That's fair. All kinds of interesting people you meet in Walmart. I always get a little scared whenever I go in there.
Why?
I don't know.
Scared of Walmart?
I don't know. People can be scary in Walmart.
Doesn't the greeter say hi? They don't have greeters anymore, do they? Or do they?
So I think there's someone there technically in charge of, like, making sure the carts are in order, but whether or not they actually greet you is 50-50. It depends on who the person is.
Well, as long as they're wearing a shirt.
That's fair.
Or a vest.
Or, you know, no shoes, no shirt, no problem. You could say that, too.
That's our slogan in the summertime. Hampton Beach. Represent!
Looking forward to it.